Hello, I'm David. Welcome to the Autobunker news desk, and in this quick video we're going to wrap up the news stories from September 2025 that have piqued our interest. We're going to focus on a good news story from Porsche about their approach to petrol engines, some bad news from JLR and the wider UK car industry manufacturing as a whole, and then some bizarre news about electric vehicles and if they make you more or less car sick than their petrol engined equivalents. So stay tuned and we'll get into those stories in detail. Thanks for watching. First of all though, let's start with a story that we picked up in the Telegraph, which is that Britain now has more parking officers than active soldiers in the armed forces, raking in £2.4 billion in revenue for councils over the last year. What a shameful state of affairs for motorists. So there's record levels of people employed in the parking industry. 82,000 people is the number estimated by the British Parking Association, but there's only 74,000 people that are regular members in the army. That's scary, isn't it? I'm not sure we've got our priorities quite right on that one. The second story relates to Porsche. I picked this up in Auto Express, but it's been covered widely in the national news as well, and it's about them reverting from electric power to petrol power for the upcoming Cayman and Boxer models. So the top spec derivatives of the car, the GT4, the Spider, and the GT4 RS, or whatever they'll be called in the new ones, they're going to have petrol power, probably 6-cylinder engines like the current cars. They'll have to be Euro 7 compliant, but they've got to re-engineer the entire chassis and layout so that they can have a petrol engine and drivetrain as well as the electric ones for the entry-level cars. The engineering and technical impact of this is not yet fully known. Has the chassis been designed to accept a petrol engine and a gearbox and a rear-wheel drive layout, or was it solely designed with motors and a four-wheel drive setup? We'll not know until sometime in the future. But what we can say at Autobunker is that we're very glad there's going to be a loud, noisy, flat-six engine in the new car. The next bit of news is not good at all. It's an article I picked up on the BBC website about UK car production, and in the first half of 2025 we've produced the lowest number of vehicles since 1953. That's just over 470,000 cars in that period. The article touches on a couple of factors that could be influencing this. Some major factory closures included in that. Could be Brexit, could be COVID, could be lack of available skills and talent. But the real worry that this article picks up is that there's a critical mass, a critical level, that once we fall below a certain production volume, the supply chain, the skills, the learning, the entry into that industry is going to fall apart. So we need to be really careful as a nation about making sure we support local factories and get those staff in there and employed and keep that productivity up. Not helping with that in any shape or form is the cyber attack on Jaguar Land Rover. Picked this one up in the Sunday Times, but again, it's been all over the national news. A hack has destroyed the IT infrastructure of the spare parts supply, the supply chain, and the day-to-day manufacturing of the Jaguar and Land Rover brands. They're not even producing Jaguars at the moment, so Land Rover and Range Rover production. A devastating blow for the company, their employees, and their supply chain, who are on the brink of bankruptcy in a lot of cases. The three factories that are producing for Jaguar, they employ around 30,000 people directly, roughly 1,000 cars a day between them, but an extended up to 200,000 people impacted in the supply chain. That's devastating news, and I really hope that they invest in their network, their IT security to make sure this can never happen again. And finally, we picked up an article in The Guardian about one of the readers who was finding that their daughter was massively car sick in their electric car. I've heard a few anecdotal stories about this, read a few other articles, and it seems to be that ultra-quiet and vibration-free electric vehicles are making people more car sick as they travel. So as a passenger in the rear of the car, you're missing out on those normal cues of a combustion engine, revs rising and falling, indicating to your body that you're going faster and slower, or about to be going faster and slower. I think combining the regen braking effect, where you can get quite a sudden lurch forward as the driver lifts off the gas, again with no warning or no audible cue. I think there's some real interesting things to be looked at in this discussion. I haven't spent a lot of time riding around in EVs, and I'm a terrible passenger at the best of time, but I'd love to know if your family have experienced the same sort of effects while you've been going on longer journeys in an electric vehicle. So that's the Autobunker take on the September 2025 news. Let me know what you think of those stories. Let me know if you think we've covered the right ones, if there's anything important that we've missed. And I'd love it if you'd follow the channel. We've got some more walkarounds coming up. We've got some more nerdy car facts coming up. And we'll get involved in digging into what's happening with the Autobunker fleet in the weeks coming up as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.